We are on the south side of the garage, and this is the electric meter. It comes below grade. We have a slipping coupler there, so when it moves, that's fine. This is our grounding rod going into the ground like it should. We have should have a second ground that I cannot locate. This is our meter. We learn right here. It's a 240 volt meter. We're starting to see 250s. That's not what I'm reading here. I'm reading a 240. We're going to go around. If this home was built this morning, even 2 years ago, right? Times change. But it's a safety issue. It's for first responders. We should have an electric service disconnect on the exterior side of the house. And 2 years ago, that was very much in the conversation. It was very much written in the updated versions of the code. An electrician licensed in Texas by the Department of Licensing, an honest-to-God electrician. His license requirement is to perform work to the most recent version of the code available. Oh, this city didn't require it back then. Well, whatever. I'm just telling you what for this to have been licensed work, what should have happened. It's 200 amp service. This is our main principal. This is L1 and L2 coming into the house. We got Pookie on here. That Pookie was not necessary. You can thank a home inspector for the Pookie right there too. Alright, if this had been down here and it had been aluminum, it should have been Pookie. But these stranded coming in here, Texas Real Estate Commission says no Pookie on an antioxidant paste. No antioxidant paste on, to report as a deficiency, any antioxidant paste inside the electric load center. They don't even call it the load center. I think they call it service panel. Anyway, so that meets the Texas Real Estate Commission standards of practice. Anyway. Okay, L1 and L2 should have been protected by a non-conductive cover. Sometimes they're cardboard, sometimes they're neoprene or some sort of a petroleum product, base product. But they're supposed to have these little neoprene covers on them. And coming along here, then you see that right there? That's a drywall screw. It's a drywall screw. Drywall screws are brittle. Drywall screws are for drywall. Drywall is not electric. Alright? Two different trades. You don't even need a license to hang drywall. You need a license to install the air conditioner. And the manufacturer's installation instructions even has an illustration of nails. Okay? Even a more robust screw, anything other than a little non-protected, that will pop. Okay, it'll rust, corrode, get, tinsel, and pop like a pimple. If this structure was to experience a tornado, for example, I get it. You've already got a bad day. But now this thing is stuck in here with drywall screws, pops out like a pimple, then the first responder has to step over the sparky box to come in and do you some good. The whole idea is to keep it in place. Alright? These screws are inadequate for the purpose they were intended. Coming on along, what we should have is the bonding location. Should be labeled inside of the box. I don't see it. Is it still going to work? You bet. Anybody going to suffer from that? Not. But there it is. Bonding location's not in here. You know what else is also in this box? Combustible debris, dust, and paint. And this paint, check this out. This paint is on, the bus bar. It's on the bus bar connections. Come up here, it's on the bus bar connections. So this is all installed before the breakers. So do you think these breakers were installed on a nice clean bus? I don't. I don't think they were installed on a nice clean bus. I just don't. So there's that. What else we got, bud? Oh, I got stuff. I'm not quitting yet. Okay. You see what this is? That's handwriting. See what this is? This is printing. They printed most of it. Thank goodness. I'm glad. Printed most of it. But they handwrote some of it. Handwrote it. Okay. I didn't wake up this morning trying to think of what I was going to do to piss everybody off. I just didn't do that. Alright? I thought I'd give everybody, it was a new day. The manufacturer, Eaton, and Code, they decided that this should be printed. It's not printed. The wires are not supposed to come in contact with the cabinet cover. You get a short in this wire. That's pretty stupid of me. You get a short in this wire. Short in this wire. Energizes the cabinet cover. You come over here to flip a breaker. It's a horrible story. I tell horrible stories. A good thing here is we've got, this is our energy rating is posted on here as it should have been. I like that. Inspector J came in here. What do you do for the ceilings? 2R. Foundation, HVAC type AC, heating type gas. And Sear 16 is what, that's what Jay thinks. Jay thinks this is a Sear 16. He might know. You got the larger evaporator coil. He can do some calculations. Now coming over here, this is for the kitchen range, and this is called a lockout. And you can lock this out when the kitchen range is turned off, and that way you can pull the kitchen range out and work on it, and then you're voila, you know, nobody's hurt. Nobody comes in here and just flips a breaker. Wonder what's going on in there. Ah! You know, that doesn't happen. I use that one because I know that it doesn't go to anything. This one, okay, this one is for the clothes dryer. Is that correct? Oven, dryer, yes. I said range, it's really the oven. Clothes dryer is supposed to be GFCI protected. 2 years ago it was supposed to be GFCI protected. It's not GFCI protected. It'd have a button like these. And by the way, all these buttons are tested in vacant houses. Otherwise, I'm just testing for location. Now down here on some of this handwriting, we've got car charger. This is the car charger. I've got it turned off because we have not installed a receptacle. I opened this up. Honestly, I almost didn't open it up. I mean, really? I didn't even have to. But look, I was looking for a second ground, which I have not found. We don't have a second ground. All right? So it'll be a second ground within 6 feet. There might be one. What do we got over here? I can't. I see we got wiring for 2 grounds, or the ground in the bond, excuse me. Bonding location is not labeled. And that can be handwritten. So I get in here and I'm looking for the bonding location, because a lot of times we use ethers for that. And I get down in here. Oh, look at all these window screens. Is that enough window screens? I don't know. Are they the right size? I don't know. Actually, it might not even be window screens. It looks like it might be art. Never mind. And this is the electric cable. Are you off? For the electric car. And 220. And this is the way we just leave it. That was on when I got here. So that anybody would open this up, I mean, yeah, you'd think somebody has some more brains than that. And also, these 2 top screws will not fit. Okay, it's only the 2 bottom ones holding this plate in place. But that should be capped off so that if anybody turns that breaker on, anyway, prevent horrible, nasty accidents. So what we learned, 220 is not capped off properly. What did we learn? Paint and dust. What did we learn? Wires touching. What did we learn? No GFCI on the dryer. What did we learn? No protective covers on L1 and L2. What did we learn? Wires touching. What did we learn? Hand labeling. What did we learn? We don't know where we don't know where the bonding location is. Did I mention that not being capped off?